What's up, dogs and dogettes? Your boy HarkDog25 here, and coming with you a special video to lead up to the 2015 NFL season. So, a few people have asked me, so I want to throw it out there. Whoever wants to join a fantasy football league with me for the season, leave your name below. I will try and direct message you somehow, either through YouTube or Twitter or something like that. We'll get a hold of you, but we need at least 8 players to get a decent league going. I mean, 8 players kind of is the minimum. It'd be nice if we got up to 12 and make it a little harder. Things can, you can get trades and stuff. So if you want to be in a league with the dog, we need enough people. Leave your name or just say I want to be in it in the comments below, and we'll try and figure it out before the season starts next Thursday. So if you're a new subscriber within the past 8 months or so, I did a week by week pick'em video on my channel last year, and the picks are against the spread for each game, and I try and pick who's going to cover the spread, and also do some little fantasy advice. And I will go over my fantasy picks that I just made last night. I did stream my Yahoo Keeper League, not my Keeper League, my Standard League. So if anybody watched that or stopped by, I was streaming that. I didn't stream the latest one just because I had a lot of my friends, last names, and it had just been too much editing. And I had 2 going at once as well, an ESPN and a Yahoo League, and it was kind of tough. One was an auction, so I just needed utmost focus, so I couldn't concentrate on chat or anything like that. But I'm going to go over my picks for the season. All 32 teams. We're going to run down with it really, really quick. So this video doesn't take too long. And then we'll go to the playoffs. And then, lo and behold, my biased opinion right here, my Super Bowl pick, even though they lost Nelson. But we're going to go through it. So, first team, we're just going to go alphabetical order. Actually, we'll just go by division, and I'll try and put a picture on the screen of what I created in Excel. So we'll just go NFC South. I have Carolina winning the NFC South with a modest 9-7 record. Their defense is good. Their offense without Kelvin Benjamin won't be as good. I feel Jonathan Stewart's going to have a decent season. They just got a bunch of old bones as receivers. They still have Greg Olsen. But in that division, no. Yeah, okay. Carolina is not winning division at 9-7. I'm sorry. They will go 9-7. Which will finish second in their division. Atlanta, I have going 8-8. Their offensive line is just bad. I mean, you watched the preseason game last weekend, and they just got steamrolled. Matt Ryan was getting crushed all game long. So it doesn't, and they have no running back. They got Devontae Freeman or that TJ Yeldon. I think it's TJ Yeldon that's there. But no one established. They got Julio Jones, they got Roddy White. Tony Gonzalez is gone, so I feel like the offense is going to try to carry the team, but it's only going to carry them to 8 wins. Then I have the Saints. I have the Saints at actually 12-4, which is kind of a bold prediction after their crummy last season. I feel like their defense is going to be a little bit better. Their offense is definitely going to be better. They got rid of Jimmy Graham, but that's going to open the door for Brandon Cooks. Colson's obviously going to be decent. Mark Ingram's going to have a big year again. Who's their tight end? Watson. And Watson's a good tight end. He was in New England. He knows what he's doing. So they're going to have a decent offense, and the defense will be marginally better under Rob Ryan, that's defensive coordinator there? Not sure. And that leaves Tampa Bay 3-13. Jameis Winston's going to go through some serious growing pains, but they do have Doug Martin is there. We'll see. He had flashes about 3 years ago, and he's been injured, riddled on the sideline. Their defense is decent. They have Mike Evans. They still have Vincent Jackson, Austin Seferius Jenkins at tight end. So they got some decent players. But I think with Jameis back there, it's gonna be tough for him. He's gonna go through some growing pains. They might win more than 3, but as I went game by game, it's really, you don't know how the team's gonna play prior to the season. This is all preseason. It's August 31st. I'm predicting. If I made my predictions at 6 weeks into the season, I already had the record for the first 6 weeks. I could probably guess every playoff team. But that's the NFC South. So New Orleans is in 12-4. NFC West, Seattle Seahawks, no surprise, 13-3. They're going to be just a juggernaut at home, 12th man. Marshawn Lynch is a beast. Jimmy Graham is going to be a big outlet. Russell Wilson, just the superior game manager with the football, takes care of it. And they got Lockett, they got Baldwin, they got a few people that catch the ball, and of course that defense. The defense is the game changer. They do have to play my Packers in week 2 in Lambeau. If they can beat the Packers in Lambeau, they're going to get that number 1 seed. And I actually have them beating the Packers in Lambeau now that Jordy Nelson is out, unfortunately. Next team, I have San Francisco, 5-11. That offense is just lost. They brought in Torrey Smith, but they got rid of Crabtree. Vernon Davis is old. Gore's gone. They got Carlos Hyde. They lost a whole slew of people on defense. The defense will still be decent. Navarro Bowman came back, and he's looking like a stud already. But I feel like that offense is just not going to score more than 19, 20 points a game, and that's not going to be enough to get it done. Not in this league, anyways. St. Louis, 3-13. I don't know how Foles is going to do. I mean, you got Brian Quick there. You got Jared Cook. You got Kenny Britt, who kind of had a resurgence season last year. Gurley, if Gurley makes a statement when he comes back and establishes that running game, which I hope he does because I picked him up in my Yahoo Keeper League, drafted him as a rookie, they'll win. They'll probably win 6 games. But right now, 3-13. They got a good defense, but that offense with Nick Foles, you just don't know what they're doing. If he's got to throw the ball 35 times a game, I'm sorry, they're not going to do much. There's not. They need a running game. They need balance. Like Foles had balance when he was doing well in Philly. He needs balance again. They have Arizona at 9-7. That defense is good. Carson Palmer stays healthy. I think they're going to go 9-7. Pretty solid chance at that. They have some easy games. Early on, they play Chicago, San Francisco, St. Louis. They play Cleveland week 8 in the bye. I got them 5-3 going to the bye. Then they come out of the bye and they're at Seattle, which is kind of tough, but it gives them 2 weeks. Bruce Arians is an awesome coach, so we'll put a bye on them to come in and at least beat Seattle once this season, probably in Phoenix. So that wraps up the NFC West. Let's move to the NFC East real quick. New York Giants 8-8. Defense, they don't have much for defense, and that was what took them to the Super Bowls. Their defense started gelling and playing well. They took on my Packers twice in Lambeau during those Super Bowl runs. So I think I got Odell Beckham Jr. in one of my leagues, and Eli's just going to throw it up to him a lot. Victor Cruz on the other side. If he stays healthy, they're going to put up some points. Now Rashad Jennings is going to be decent, but Andre Williams is going to get some carries as well. So I feel like 8-8 is pretty solid for them. Dallas, I got to go in 10-6. They still have one of the best offensive lines in the league. Run DMC is looking pretty good. Joseph Randall's looking pretty good. Dez, I drafted him in a couple leagues. He's just going to be a beast. Romo's going to chuck it up to him. Terrence Williams as number 2. Witten always as a safety outlet. And the defense is what's going to be suspect. I mean, they could be a 9-7 team, 8-8, if that defense plays poorly. But I have Philadelphia winning division at 12-4. Bradford, if he stays healthy, I mean, he had it humming against the Packers last weekend. I mean, 10 of 10, 3 touchdowns, 130 yards, hitting Sproles, hitting Matthews, hitting Murray out of the backfield, Murray running over people, Ryan Matthews as a two-headed monster. I mean, Sproles in space is just electric. It's unbelievable. So if he stays healthy, Philly's just going to wipe the map with a lot of the teams that they face this year, especially in that division against the Giants and Washington. Spring beat of Washington, 4-12. They're all sorts of befuddled there. The defense is bad. The O-line is not good. They don't know what they're going to do with RG3. They're going to bench him now. He doesn't seem like he wants to play. He gets no respect from anybody, so they're starting Cousins. I had a few people draft RG3 in their leagues. I listened to a lot of sports talk radio. Did not want to go that route. No. So I got them, 4-12 and finishing dead last, unfortunately, in their division. Yeah, I have them winning 2 games of their first 10. So it'll be 2-8, and then 2-4 the last 6. NFC North, obviously Green Bay, 12-4. I have them losing to Seattle. I have them losing to Minnesota once. And I have another tough game that they play where I have them losing. At Denver, yeah. And then at Detroit, possibly. Who knows about that? But I couldn't pick a 16-0 season. It's not going to happen. My biased opinion, I'd pick 16-0. But they're going to be 12-4, and they're going to hold the tiebreaker over New Orleans. Just because they'll have a better conference record, I believe. Like, New Orleans is going to lose more games than Green Bay, so Green Bay is going to get the 2 seed behind Seattle. Minnesota, I have 9-7, but I do have them losing to Arizona when they do play, and that's why Minnesota will not make the playoffs. I feel like they're a year away. Bridgewater's looking good. Charles Johnson's going to be awesome. Mike Wallace, and of course AP coming back, ready to do some business. Cordell Patterson looks like he's finally off his sophomore slump, returning kicks, and might be that electric player that everybody deemed him to be last year. So we shall see. But 9-7, I feel like that's a good number. They could hit 10-6, and they could beat Arizona and get in that wild card spot in the 6th spot. So we'll see. I have Detroit going 8-8. That offense is still going to be good with Kelvin Johnson, Golden Tate, Amir Abdullah coming in, Eric Ebron in his second year. I mean, Ebron, I wanted to get him in a couple of leagues, and it just didn't happen. So unfortunately, I got to go against him in a few weeks this year. But I think 8-8 is a pretty solid record after losing Sue and losing Fairley and some key components on that defense. Chicago 4-12. Cutler's going to be benched. He's going to be benched by week 8. I don't know why people were drafting him. I mean, he was going a little bit higher than even Jameis Winston. I mean, Winston's probably going to play like most of the games. I feel like he's not going to be over. Let me lower this a little bit. There we go. Because I'm leaning back and I'm not really in the shot. And they don't have Marshall anymore. Kevin White's injured. Forte's getting old, but it's not the Trestman offense anymore, so he's not going to catch 80 balls. Alshon Jeffrey is going to have a good season if he stays healthy. Martellus Bennett, they just don't have anything there. And their defense is old. It's old. They just dropped Jennings. Chris Conte's old. Peanut Tillman's old. I'm trying to think of the other defense. Briggs, I don't even know if he's still there. But, I mean, it's just an old team. 4-12. That's what they got. So, NFC seeds shape up like this. Seattle 1, Green Bay 2, New Orleans 3, Philly 4, Dallas 5, Arizona 6. So, those are the seeds for the NFC. I guess I can go through the entire playoffs because I already told you my Super Bowl champion. I have Philly beating Dallas. Yep. And then New Orleans beating Arizona. So, and then in the divisional round, I got Seattle facing Philly and Green Bay at home against New Orleans. And New Orleans does not travel well. So I got Green Bay beating Seattle. Green Bay is going to go back to Seattle this year and win the game they should have won last year. Oh, my gosh. And they're going to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. All right, so we got to keep going. It's already 14 minutes in. Indianapolis 12-4. Obviously, they got a weak division. Jacksonville 3-13. I feel like Bortles, even with Julius Thomas coming there and Allen Robinson, in his second year, I think it's just not gonna be enough. So it's 3-13. They got another year. If Bortles has a better year than we're thinking, they might win 5 games, but I don't think it's going to be more than that. Houston, a lot of people are picking Houston to make the playoffs. I have them going 7-9. They got a great defense, but with Mallet there, I think that's the person. It's gonna be QB, or is it Hoyer? Oh no, it's gonna be Hoyer. Yeah. I mean, we saw the Hoyer show in Cleveland last year. I know this story, and he's moving that story down to Houston. And it's better defense, had a good defense in Cleveland even. But I mean, he's got DeAndre Hopkins, and with Arian Foster, basically the safety belt out. I mean, it's game over. So 7-9. Tennessee 3-13. Mariota is going to go through a rough first season, just like Jameis Winston. And it's funny because they both face each other the very first week of the season, I believe. Yeah, Tampa Bay. I have Tampa Bay being Tennessee in the first week of the season. Delaney Walker's there. Bishop Sankey. It's a very young team, and the defense is not that good. So I just gotta go 3-13. I'm sorry, but Indianapolis is gonna win that division easily. AFC West. Let's go. Denver Broncos 11-5. They're gonna rely heavily more on C.J. Anderson, which I hope they do because they drafted him in one league. Manny will still throw his 30-35 touchdowns, but he's not going to throw 5,500 yards again. I feel like, they're just going to game manage him. It's his last season, last hurrah. They're going to give him a shot. They go 11-5, win the division, and go to the playoffs. But they won't make it They won't make it to the bowl. Already foreshadowing. I have San Diego going 10-6. I really like Phillip Rivers. The defense is looking better, and Melvin Gordon turns out to be any sort of decent running back to complement Rivers. It's going to be a good team. The defense is a little bit better. I feel like they're ready to jump ahead there and have a good season. I have Kansas City at 9-7. Jamal Charles, Alex West. They picked up Macklin. Still got Bo there, Travis Kelce. But last year, the wide receivers did not score a touchdown. Alex Smith does not throw that much downfield. And the wide receivers just didn't do anything for him. So Dwayne Bowe was gone, but man, he was just bad. He was toxic. I stayed away from him. But Charles is going to be carrying that team. Hopefully he catches a lot of balls out of the backfield, try and get him in space, and that's where he does some serious magic. Defense is still going to be good as well. I got Oakland, 4-12. Their defense looking better. Khalil Mack's looking like a beast. Bakar, second year. Amari Cooper, first year. And they just have a bunch of old players. Latavius Murray, I think, is in his second year. But other than that, they're going to go through some growing pains as well. So I got them as 4-12. But I feel like next year is going to be a good year for them because they'll have another year under their belt. And we'll see how that Cooper, Carr, Latavius Murray, three-headed monster works out this year. So let's go to the AFC East real quick. New England, 13-3. Doesn't matter if Brady's probably going to play all 16 games. I think his Deflategate BS is going to be done. I've listened to it on Sports Talk Radio for 8 months. I've heard both sides, both arguments. And it's just much ado about nothing. That's what it boils down to. So 13-3. They're going to get the 1 seed. They still got a pretty tough division, though, to get through. Pretty tough defenses. But the Jets are still going to go 4-12, even with that defense. I feel like Fitzpatrick is just... But they do have weapons. They got Decker. They got Marshall there. Who do they have for running back? I don't know who they have for running back. Oh, he sucks, though. So 4-12, Jets. Buffalo, 8-8. That defense... Tyrod Taylor starting is going to be a little bit iffy, so we'll see how that goes. But the defense is going to be good under Rex Ryan. They'll put up a lot of points, or they'll hold the team to the opposition to less points, but they're still going to have to put up, a decent amount of points. And you got to hope McCoy is healthy and that hamstring is healthy all season. I have Miami going 10-6. Tannehill is looking like a stud so far. Lamar Miller, I picked him up in a fantasy league. Hopefully he's good. Greg Jennings is down there. Who's the big person? Devontae Parker? Yeah. And there's one other big name, wide receiver. I can't even think of his name. Anyways, It's not Heartline. Might be. No, Heartline's just old. Anyways, 10-6. They're gonna make the playoffs. So AFC North. Wow, we're already at 20 minutes. AFC North. Pittsburgh, 10-6. They're not winning the division though. I have Baltimore at 12-4. Steve Smith Sr., if he stays healthy, is gonna be good. I feel like Justin Forsett, Flacco's game manager, T Sizzle in the defense. Baltimore has always been tough. They've always given Pittsburgh and New England problems over the years. So they're going to have a good year again, just like last year, and put up a 12-4 record, win the division. Pittsburgh 10-6. Antonio Brown's obviously going to be huge. Roethlisberger's going to have a big season. Martavis Bryant is out for the first 4 games. So if you can pick up Marcus Wheaton for those 4 games and need a wide receiver 3, I'd do that. Like I did in like 3 leagues. And I got Cleveland going 6-10. Jay Manziel. I mean, he'll win a couple games, but man, I feel like they just don't have the talent on the offensive side. Isaiah Crowell, but he didn't do much last year. They're really high on Duke Johnson, Jr. So hopefully he is good because I picked him up in a league. I mean, you got Dwayne Bowe there, and I mean Jordan Cameron, but we've seen flashes in the pan from him. You just don't know. So I'm 6-10. Cincy, I should have brought out my Cincy jersey. I got a couple in the closet. I'm a Cincinnati fan as well. 7-9. 7-9. 7-9. I feel like they're going to take a step back this year, unfortunately. Even with A.J. Green, Sanu, and Marvin Jones, Jeremy Hill, Gio Bernard, Eifert. I mean, they got a good offense. But, man, Andy Dalton, he just had just a terrible year last year. I can't believe they even won 10 games or wherever they ended up and made the playoffs. It's just, you just don't understand who he's throwing to sometimes or what his decision-making is. But hopefully I'm wrong. But 7-9, so I got him as. So AFC seeds round out like this. New England, the 1 seed. Baltimore, the 2. Indianapolis, the 3, obviously. Denver, 4. Miami, 5. Pittsburgh, 6. So even San Diego going 10-6. I still have Miami and Pittsburgh beating them in the tiebreakers. Then I have Denver versus Miami. I do have Miami winning that game. Moving on to the divisional round. Indianapolis versus Pittsburgh. Indy's going to win. Then New England at home against Miami. New England's going to win that game for sure. Then Indy at Baltimore. I think this is a big game because Indy's got to go to Baltimore. And Baltimore, I think, is going to win. And then the rematch of the divisional round last year, where started the whole Deflategate thing, in my opinion, when Tom Brady called out Harbaugh for not knowing the rules and acted like an arrogant prick. New England versus Baltimore, take 6 or whatever it is. Baltimore's going to win this one. Going to go to the Super Bowl, face my Packers. Packers win the Super Bowl. So those are my predictions this year. I will put the picture up on the screen of the divisions and the champion, all that stuff, so you can, kind of go along with me. And I'll kind of flip back and forth between my face here and the actual picture. And I'll also put up my fantasy teams. I won't add anything. I won't go over them, but I'll just put it at the end so you can check out my fantasy teams, my rosters, and, kind of tell me how I did in my drafts. Okay, that's it. It's a long video, so I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like the video if you did, comment, subscribe, and comment if you want to be in the Hark Dog, probably ESPN League. It'll probably be the easiest for me. If you want to join it, we need at least 8 people to play. So I know Fitz is in. I'm sure a couple other people. Maybe if Shrub is still around. I haven't seen him around in a while, but if he's still around, maybe he wants to be in. So just let me know. And as always, we will see you next time. Take care, everyone.